Hey guys, Gary Allan here. We are going to do a live chat today with CMT. First off, I'd like to thank Cody Allan, and I'd like to thank CMT Radio Live. And this should be interesting. Let's see how it goes. First question is from Ashley from Las Vegas. Who is the one artist, past or present, I would have loved to have done a duet with? For me, that would have to be Merle Haggard. I grew up like he was my favorite artist when I was a kid. He's my favorite songwriter. And I actually asked him to sing a duet with me once a long-ass time ago, and he said no. I'm not sure if the question actually made it to him, but his management turned it down. And then, I'll be damned if not, like 5 months later, they asked us to do a duet with them, so we said no. So I probably could have, and I should have, and I didn't. Ashley. Next one, Sarah from Rhinelander. If I could spend one day with anyone in the world, who would it be and why? You know what? I think if I could spend the day with anybody, I would like to spend the day with, like, the president, somebody like that, because I got a lot of damn questions. Ashley from Omaha, Nebraska. If I could tour with anybody, who would it be? I've actually gotten to tour with most of the people that I wanted to tour with. Somebody that I always wanted to tour with George. Somebody that I always wanted to tour with was George Strait, and I never got a chance to. And sounds like he's doing his reunion or his farewell tour now, so don't think I'll get a chance to. Next is from Katie from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Have I ever wanted to take back a career decision I've made? That's a great question. You know what? I would have to say no. I mean, obviously, I could have done things differently when you know the future, but I love I think every mistake, every trial that we've made while we were doing this. I've got a great team around me, and I think I had to do things my way in order to get where I am, to have it my way. So no, I think I love every decision we made. We made the right decision with the info that we had, is what I'm trying to say. Jamie from Evansville, Indiana. When did I learn to play guitar? I probably learned when I was close to 7 or 8. My dad was a guitar player, and so was my brother. So there was always a PA system set up in our house, so there was always somebody playing. And I can remember every day after school going home, and I had a great big thick songbook that I used to play in the clubs, and I would roll through all my songs almost every day. That's how I learned to play. Next is Robbie from Missoula, Montana. What's my favorite track I've ever written? I would have to say it's the current one, Every Storm Runs Out of Rain. Really proud of that song. Tell you where that song came from. A buddy of mine, Matt Warren, having a tough time songwriting, and he was weed eating instead of songwriting. And he hit a rock with his weed eater, and it banked off the house and smacked him in the face. And he had written that down on a piece of paper, Every Storm Runs Out of Rain, and then had called us and said, hey, brought that over the day we wrote, and we ended up writing it. Great song. Tracy from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Who are my closest friends in the music biz? You know, my friends are the ones that I work with, so my closest friends are, my manager, John Lytle, and my band. We hang with each other when we're not on the road a lot. Really get along with my agents, so, all my people like that are really, really tight. As far as other artists, I don't really have a lot of artist friends, and I think it's just mostly because we're always just doing our own thing. When everybody goes into town, everybody has their own schedule, and it's really, it's just really hard to hang. Alex from Riverdale, Maryland. Aside from singing, is there anything else that I would have ever dreamed of doing? No. That was my goal was to sing. I wanted to do that since I was a little kid, and super blessed that I'm able to do that now. Ashley from Colorado Springs. Lots of Ashleys in here. You have a lot of great songs that liken emotion to like. You have a lot of great songs that liken emotions to weather. What's that about? Weather. That is so relatable. No, I think a lot of weather reminds me of emotions. The clouds, the rain, the wind. I think all of them sort of represent trials and things like that. think that's why there is so many rain songs. Bethany from Tulsa, Oklahoma. What do I tell people who try to compare you to other country stars? You know, I don't really say anything. I think it's a compliment when people try to do that. And, yeah, I'm always doing my own thing. So if somebody's doing their own thing and it sounds like me, I'm good with it. Laura from Wappingers Falls. Do I prefer larger venue or smaller venues? More intimate settings? You know what? In the old days, I used to really like small bars. And now that I've been on a few tours where the the rooms are huge, it's a very different approach, and we actually rehearse different. My band, when you're in a small bar, you don't have to move around too much because you really only have a 2 or 3 foot stamp that you can move anyway. So if you move around too much, it looks weird. And when we got into the big rooms, that's when I had to get a wireless mic and wireless guitars, and you need to be more animated just because the room's so big and the people far away, you have to move 20 feet instead of 2 feet, and you have to be more animated, which is really uncomfortable to get yourself to do. But once we got it down, it was a lot of fun. Samantha from New Iberia. What would I say has been my favorite greatest achievement since I started in music? I would say making it to the 2nd record contract. I finished a 7-album deal with a company, and then I'm currently in a 3-album deal with the same company. So I would think just making that turn, able to keep it going. My goal has always been to be here, till I'm 70. I want to be the guy that's, everybody kind of looks over and goes, oh my God, how is he still here? Sierra from Tucson. What's the story behind the song Bones? Actually, I didn't write that song. That was Keith Gaddis. Great song. I don't do a lot of angry songs, but that one just made me smile. It was actually a banjo song when we first got it, and I sent that out to my guitar player David Steele out in LA and asked him if he would work me up like an Aerosmith riff that I could sing over while we did that song, and that's how that song came about. That was actually my band on there playing it, though, on the record. Mindy from Elizabethtown. What's my most favorite song off my new album, Set You Free, and why? I would like to say Every Storm. You know what? There's 4 of them probably that really stand out to me. Whiskey. It Ain't the Whiskey is one of my favorites on there. I just think that song is so cutting. It's one of my favorite songs to play in acoustic shows. Sand in My Soul, I think just sounds uber cool, and I think that has the possibility to be a single. And Pieces. I really love Pieces. Love the way it came out on the track. And I'll see you in Indy. See you in Indy, Mindy. Xander from Kenosha. I wanted to know if you will ever put out a live CD or a DVD. By the way, you rock live. Been a fan for many years. Well, thank you. You know what? We've talked about it a lot, and it's one of those deals that's kind of like red tape with the label. They decide to do it when they're under contract with somebody. It's got to kind of be their choice. So I definitely think we need one too, and it's been way too long, so I agree. One needs to be out there. Danielle from Brazil. Do I ever get nervous before a performance? I don't. I wish I did. I wish I still shook, but I've done it so long that that doesn't happen to me anymore. I did play in a golf tournament the other day, though. It was the McGladrys, and I was on Davis Love's team. And when they started it, they introduced me, and I was only in front of maybe 20 people, but I absolutely trembled and couldn't get off the first tee. So I still get nervous, just not to play. Nicole from Grand Junction says, you are amazing. How do you stay looking so great? What's your favorite or most used exercise? Well, thanks. And it's hard on the bus, so we're always, today I did some kind of a mixed martial arts workout with my bass player, Brian Arsenault. But we usually hit a gym every other day, and, if I do insanities in my room and PX90, we do a little bit of everything. The trick is to keep the pizza off the bus for us. Tabitha from Sturgeon Bay. What is your meaning behind your song, Every Storm? You know what? It's a song about hope. It's a song about things will always get better. And a lot of times when you're in the middle of trials, you can't really tell, or it doesn't seem like it'll ever change or ever get better. But it's just a reminder that every storm does run out. Marilyn from Hamilton. would I consider being a judge on The Voice? I would if they'd ask. Charity from College Station. I know you've helped multiple organizations over the last years, like Autism in Action, by donating unique item designed for auction. What was one of your favorite donations, and why do you do it? My favorite thing that I've done that way is actually for the Autism organization too. My manager's wife, Lori Lytle, runs that. And each year they take a group of autistic kids that come to an actual camp at Vanderbilt, and they spend a week there, and they get to write a song with an artist, and then they get to go down to the studio and record that song, and then they usually get to go play it live on the Grand Ole Opry same week. So it's a big week. They get to write the song, record it, and go to the Grand Ole Opry and sing it live. We usually give them our buses to drive around, and that was my only involvement for a while. And then last year I got to actually write the song with them, with Brett James, and that was an experience for me to sit and pull out of all the kids. We made them write the song. They made them pull the lyrics out of all of them, and we wrote a song called Harmony, and it was a magic moment for me. John from Atlanta, what advice can I give to young teens who want to be country singers? Put yourself a band together and go out and play someplace. I don't care if it's your friend's backyard, but get a band. That's the best experience you're going to get. You're not going to get it from karaoke. You're not going to get it from anything like that. You need to go put a band together, learn to play something, and get out there. Kelly from Acme, I hear that you're a golfer. Are you any good? No. That was easy. Your music speaks... Oh, this is Sander from Houston. Your music speaks to the soul. How do you find the lyrics that touch us so deeply? Thank you for your passion and incredible talent. Well, thank you. I think, I think a lot of my lyrics have to do with my life, and I've been through a lot, and I think if you can relate, it usually means that you've been through a lot too. So I think just truth. Deborah from Hendersonville. I think that's Hendersonville, but I don't know. In one word, only describe your life. Fun. Ashley from Fresno. Lots of Ashleys tonight. Will you be touring with any new upcoming stars? If so, who will they be? We're talking about putting a tour together at the end of the year, but we don't really have a set yet. We're kind of waiting for a record to come out next week, and see where we're at, if that makes any sense. See how many we sell, and then we'll determine how big we try to go next year. Robbie from Illinois, what do I drink in the black Solo cup during my concerts? There's usually a screwdriver in the black Solo cup, and and then there's usually a Jack bottle back there by the... I guess you know what's in the Jack bottle tonight. Kelly from Birmingham, Alabama, what's my biggest pet peeve? Arrogance. Love confidence, hate arrogance. And prejudice people. That was two, sorry. Stacy from Wisconsin. Are there any songs at shows I wish I didn't have to perform? There's songs that are hard to perform, but it's my band, so if I didn't want to perform it, I wouldn't perform it. Lauren from San Leonardo. If I had to choose an actor to play myself in a movie, who would it be? Wow, that's interesting. I'd say Johnny Depp, just because I think he's super cool. I don't know anything about acting. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that would go. I just like Johnny Depp. Janie from Meridian, Mississippi. What inspires me when I write lyrics? True stories inspire me. Usually if I'm writing with friends, they bring life stories. It's like therapy. We sit and talk about relationships and things like that, things that are working, things that aren't, and eventually they just fall out. If you just get together with your friends and talk about real things. You can't talk about surface things. You have to kind of open up and let everybody see you naked a little bit and kind of suss out the ideas. Marie from Duluth. Is my daughter still pursuing her musical career, and are you accompanying her on stage anymore, or is she on her own? My kids are in college, and they, I don't really push that they do this just because it's such a hard life. So, but if one of them wanted to do it, I'd get behind it. But nobody's really like, absolutely went out and got a band and did all the hard work that they need to do yet. So, not yet. Joy from Chicago. Gary, what's my most favorite candy besides chocolate-covered cherries? Gosh, I'm amazed you knew that. That's it. Yeah, I'm a chocolate guy. Chocolate and red wine. Good red wines. Cabernets. California wines. Emily from Stanwood. How do I get myself prepared before I go out and do a show? I try not to think about it. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I try to hang and absolutely just shut out what's going on outside. Our tradition is we usually watch a DVD of a live rock show up there, or up in the front. I try not to let anybody else on the bus except the band an hour before the show. And then we do a traditional shot right before we walk on. It's usually a mix of Jägermeister and some of the guys that do. Linda from Cottonwood. Am I ever going to release a Christmas CD? It's got to be soon. Each time I've done a record and I've had any extra time, I've cut an extra, and I had time to cut an extra song, I always made it a Christmas song. That's why you get the ones that you did. But I think I've accumulated like 6, 7, 8 of them, so it's got to be there. Janet from New York. Do you get to see my mom much while touring, and how is my daughter doing in college? My daughter's kicking butt in college. And I've been to the West Coast a lot this year, and so I did. I actually got to see my mom 2-3 days ago, and I'm flying to LA today to do Jay Leno, so I'll see her there. Gary from Lancaster, PA. Devil's Candy is a song you don't seem to play live. It's my favorite. Why don't you play it? You know what? There's so much now, and I probably get those questions the most, and that's probably the best problem I can have, is always leaving one out that somebody didn't get to hear. I played it for years. We always try to just rotate them in, and now I'm going to have to rotate some of the currents out for the new album, so there's always something somebody doesn't get to hear. But I love that song too. Ashley from Roy. Where did it get the idea for learning how to bend? For the music video. I'm trying to picture that video. That's right, we shot that in Union Station in Tennessee. And you know what? I'm not a very visual person. Usually with the videos, I have people give me ideas. They write things out, and then I'll kind of go through and I'll develop them with them after that. I'm a lyric guy, but I don't really have a video kind of when I write songs. Trisha from North Dakota. Do I have any rituals before I go on stage for a show? We do. I just said that we watch a rock video or just a video, any kind of live concert. And then an hour before, and then we all do a traditional band shot as we walk on. Shawna from Monterey, California. Where was I the first time I heard myself on the radio? I was at my parents' house, and it was way before I had a record contract, and it was a song called If I Was a Drinking Man. No. It would have been like Used Heart for Sale or something like that, which is one of the songs that I used to get my record contract. But I can remember they played it on K-Frog, and I went running home and listened to it in my mom's car in the garage. It was a magic moment for me. Janelle from Burlington, Vermont. What is the one thing I do every single day besides shower and eat? Warm up my voice. Every day in the shower, it's, if you could hear that, that's a comedy routine to some people. I make obnoxious noises, especially if I have a show, because I sometimes, especially right now, I left on the 6th, and today is like the 20th, so I've been out 20 days, and I don't get a day off until, I think, the 28th. So when you're doing that, I have to warm my voice up really slow, otherwise I'll lose my voice, in the middle of the tour. So that's probably the other thing. It looks like that wraps it up. Again, I want to thank Cody, Allan, and I want to thank CMT Radio Live. This has been pretty cool. I hope you guys got what you wanted. I hope I answered all your questions good enough. Come see us on the road.